right now all of our logic is sitting here in our app component. It's going to get really messy after a while. So we need to have this main component because you have to start out from somewhere, and very often that main component is going to end up having the state of your application. Let's see if we can separate this out a little bit. So one of the things we could end up doing here is that we could create something called maybe a loader. And the way that this could end up working is that within the loader, we could end up returning a React create element. And so what this allows us to do is go over here and just return create loader. We don't have any children, don't have any props here. So let's just see if this ends up working. And it does, and it gives us the ability to sort of separate things out. And we can do the same thing here by taking this code over here. So we're going to do a little composition where our app is going to be able to create the loader, and our app is going to end up creating the list. And we'll come up here. And you're seeing that these are not stateful components, and there's a reason for that. And the list is going to be a little bit more complicated, but not too much, because we're going to have to pass numbers to our list. If we just went over here and we decided, okay, well, hey, look, we've got our list here. We're going to end up creating this by going over here and putting list, and we tried that. What's going to end up happening is that we're going to end up getting an error. And the error is going to say, hey, look, you don't have any numbers defined. You didn't pass them through. So a common pattern is we can pass props down. We can set up our state, and we can end up passing these as props. So how do we get numbers, which are up here? How do we pass them down? Well, the second parameter is going to be our properties, and we can pass down numbers. And now we'll almost be back in business, except if we're going to pass numbers, we have to catch them. So how do we end up catching them? Well, when you end up having a presentational component and you pass props, again, the important thing is that we're not calling this function. This function is being called for us. So when we end up calling React create element, it'll call this function and it'll pass these properties. And we could come over here and actually now go props dot numbers. And that'll work, but we can actually make it a little bit nicer here by doing a little bit of deconstructing here and putting in our numbers. And this will end up working the same way. So what did this really buy us? Well, it makes this component a little bit easier to maintain. This is going to have the state, and we're going to end up passing the state down to these other components.